When everywhere in the world have problems, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. From you love think it's bad. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're tuned to Win FM 98.9. That's on your radio dial. It's way past 10 o'clock Friday morning. Normally my show starts at 10, but it's 2022 and sometimes you just don't know what to do. Things just happen that you're not prepared for. I see 2021 and I have a belief that you don't have New Year's time, just continue to roll on. I suppose for us humans, we want to know where we're at, and so we would have named and numbered everything, and I suppose for our own convenience. But I see my same old habits continuing in 2022. It doesn't matter how many New Year resolution you make, things just happen. The inevitable happens, and sometimes things that you don't plan for happens, and so it happens from since I was born until now. So I wonder whether or not we are really calculating the way that we should calculate, because time just continues and everything just stay the same. It's just for us in our mind. We believe that it's New Year, new beginnings, and we have resolutions. We want to change some things that we thought were bad then, and once a change is supposed to happen every day, and that's my philosophy. My name is Sandra Quilly-Atherton, and I'm the host for Your Views. Your Views is a program that is aired on Win FM every Friday morning at 10 o'clock. It's a program where you can call in sometimes to share your views, or most of the time I would have somebody in who can talk about topics of great interest and who information that they can pass on sometimes to us who are ill-informed. Sometimes we have people who propaganda stuff, and we find people who have the right information and would make sure that the air is always clear. This morning is no exception. I have with me somebody who I'm going to say it again until he understands it's a fact that I admire. He's my king. Not King of Kings, and King of Kings. He's my King of Kings. I will go that far. He's a man that I've respected, and I think all of us think it's in his respect, not just because of his music, not just because of his music or his personality, his achievements and the kind of person that who he is. And those are not accolades; those are facts. So I think that, and they cannot be disputed. So it's just what it is. Sometimes we're afraid to accept things the way they are, and we're afraid to accept the reality, but that is the reality. Socrates, good morning, and welcome to Your Views.
Good morning to you, Sandra. Good morning to your program and your viewers. And this is, I would say, according to Sandra, it is the 7th day of January, brand new 2022. Am I correct? Is it 7th?
It's the 7th, yeah.
And as you were saying,
birthday.
today is your niece's birthday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're in a brand new year, and we make resolutions. And pretty often we break them, not intending to, but it's the flow of things. But as I said, we count the blessings first. Mm-hmm. And then all the other things that don't measure up, we just push them off the shoulder. And we move forward.
And for those of you families who don't have your loved one in 2022, who would have lost them in 2021, my condolences to you. I know how difficult it is when you can lose people who are so close and dear to you. I have a friend, my condolences to you, lost your mother. It's really sad when you can lose a mother. Sometimes as a mother, you wish, me for sure, I want my children to bury me, but they prefer me burying them because they can't take the pain. And it's something that we go through as humans, not understanding what death is, because nobody ever come back and tell us what has happened beyond,
on the other side.
On the other side. So I suppose it's that fear of death and losing your loved one, and not having an understanding of what happens to them after they would have departed this life. For those of you who are celebrating birthdays, like my niece in St. Martin, Ariane, she's my heartthrob, I want to say happy birthday to you, and I do hope that you continue to grow in strength and continue to follow the directions that your mother is leading you in. She never makes a mistake. I know she always hold on to those principles and morals. I know she's going to have a blast. And Socrates, let's talk about the past. It is a blast.
Which informs the future?
Yes, definitely the future is built on.
So you want to start, though?
But sometimes, you can't hold on to the past, because then you'll never be able to embrace the future. And these are things that I always tell people. We do learn from the past.
We don't let it define us to a certain extent. We learn from the past and move on.
Definitely.
So
And that is one of the reasons why I like having you on my show, because I learned so much. It is one of the good things that the benefits that I have when I have you here. Let's talk about Carnival in a bubble. It was a bubble.
It was a bubble carnival.
A bubble carnival. But we are seeing now, though, people who have bubbled and would have partied, we have seen the repercussions of that, because we still have to remember that we are in the age of COVID. And it matters not, the science still is not sure on everything. They have some of the things done pack. One of the things that has been working is social distancing. When you have bubble carnival, whether or not you're in a bubble or outside the bubble, at one point in time, their likes are in the bubble and unlikes are outside of the bubble. And so we have a wave, the fifth wave, and the statistics, the counts are rising. And we have to be aware of the fact that sometimes my mother used to say that fun to bring fat. That was one of the things that she used to say a long time ago, and now we understand what it is. But we had some successful events like Kaiso or the Monarch, the Kaiso Monarch, and you have been left on the people. I've listened and I've looked, and I hate social media because sometimes they really just go over the top. But there's some disputes about your positioning as first runner-up for me. I said, and I'll say to you again, you should have been my king. Situations happen, and there's certain things one has to take into consideration. But lyrically, I don't think anybody could have touched what you would have produced that night. You didn't get the crown, or you're not wearing the crown.
I'm not wearing the crown.
No.
I am not the crowned monarch. I actually sent congratulations to the gentleman the day after. And I got a call from a gentleman from Sandy Point in the US, and he remarked on a video I would have put out to speak to what happened. Because there are times, as I said, you can take all the criticism, ignore them, or respond. I used to responded. And the only way I know it, just be honest as to what happened, what transpired. For those who were not properly informed, I thought that would be an avenue of explaining to them. Because sometimes people take the lie and they run with it. So it is my responsibility to speak to not only my fan base, but the public at large as to what happened. With the momentum, with the anticipation I had, with the confidence I had going in, because I knew the field, I knew the capability, I know what I had. I was untouchable. A stroke of nature, good luck, bad luck, whatever it is, that transpired. I fought against it by going to a pharmacist, getting the prescribed medication, trying to address my vocals. Even now, it's obvious. I have challenges speaking and, articulating. And so you're going into a competition, and you're at your best, and you have your fans saying, man, make sure you bring back the come to Sandy Point. But I'm saying, I have no vocals, but I'm gonna try. And I was very, very perturbed by the whole thing. I don't know what happened. But I went on stage when I was called during the first segment, and as I said, described it, I croaked my way through the first round. And Wingrove Hicks, he don't mind me when he came back and said, boy, Socrates, you try your best, but you know that kind of feeling.
In the Wingrove voice.
I didn't say rejected. I felt dejected because it was what it was. I wanted to deliver up the optimum level, and it was not to be. So in the second round, as I said to Wingrove, I signed a contract, so I must make at least the 2 appearances. Because the thought was, well, make no sense go back on because you're out. And I did. I went back on stage, and I was having some fun to some extent. Still singing the song. I enjoyed creating, documenting the history of as many persons as possible who contributed to the successful 50 years of Carnival. And I found myself into the 4th verse.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. And I repeated some parts of the chorus of the 3rd verse. I'm hearing now from people who call me, oh, you repeat a whole verse and you're boss and you're this and that and you shouldn't have placed. I'm never one who have gone in the public and bashed the judges. I may have expressed opinion, etc., etc. I sang some years ago about a certain judge who I think he was giving me bad marks. He judged the nights. I saw the gentleman, and I agreed to them. Mr. So-and-so, and that was it. But when I left the stage, I had two reasons for leaving the park, and I did. One, explain to the public, the other. So when I was called by Mr. Nigel Williams, in the local plan, Socrates, where you be? Actually, the phone woke me up. I said, I'm in my bed. He said, boy, you play the first one up, you can come back. I said, I'm not feeling up to it. I'm in my bed. And I did say the thing, I need to apologize to the Carnival Committee for leaving the venue without informing them. Because that was never my intention, but it just happened. I was not feeling it. All the medication I would have taken did not help at all. I was told by the pharmacist, drink less, going before stage, and I tried all that. So with all the plans, all the anticipation of winning, capturing that 50th anniversary epic crown did not work out for me. My fans were not happy. I sought to explain that best I could. So all the negative that people will try to come with, it doesn't reach me.
I agree with you.
It does not reach me at all.
You know the facts.
They're not in my shoe. And I can't paint a portrait like this. I'm not an astronaut. There are things I can't do. But when it comes to Calypso, that's my thing. I live, breathe, and sleep Calypso. So when it doesn't work out for me, I take it on personally. So I know where my failings were. I know my limitations were. So people can define for me what they think I should be and who I should be, and especially it's time to leave the game.
But it was not Socrates who made himself first runner-up. The judges made that decision. So the judges knew that you would have met the criterion, because there's a criteria for judging.
If I want to be boastful, I could say I must have been exceptionally superior to all of them to have been so badly in my performance and still play so highly.
Well, it shows the quality of the show, and I don't think the quality of the show was that low, because I think Lady Diva was in great standings, and I'm not the person who's going to judge, because I'm not a judge, but I really had her. It was you and Lady Diva. I understood your situation. I mean, everybody would have recognized it. I mean, we know there's a cold going around, there's COVID, there's the Omicron going around, and everybody's been... You had all. I think you had all.
And everything.
And effort. I think you got a plus for effort, because you went out there, you did your thing. And I hear people talk about repeating. Most people, the chorus is repetitive. I think because of the way you write your songs and you always have a follow-up, people will look at the fact that you would have repeated the chorus for.
Most of them are saying after me. They don't know what's going on. I mean, like some songs, and I've lost a lot of popularity because people like Acoustic can sing. I sometimes do a chorus for every verse.
Yeah.
And as Sweeney said, you're singing 8 verses.
Yep.
So once you're going to pull it off, etc. But be that as it may, except for one person who I mentioned, I learned he judged. I don't know who judges. I no longer get into who judges and this and that. I don't go back and try to find the score sheet and query this and that. I sing, I'm in condition, I am done.
Whatever the judges decide.
Whatever it is, and whether I like it or not.
Exactly.
You've never found me on the media bashing the judge's decision on the street corner. The fans will express that. And you're okay, fine, but you move on.
You're going to get that.
And my contribution has been over the many, many years, trying to, as I said, I should leave the stage for the younger ones. I've been working with the younger ones for so many years. From primary to secondary, working with them, writing for them, assisting them, and no charge.
And the younger ones are the ones who are coming up based on the fact that you would have helped them to this point. So why are you going to come out when you can still help? If you can still write and if you can still sing, what does age has to do with it? I don't understand that statement. Well, I didn't know there was an age limit to being a Calypsonian.
I don't. Well, you're right. It's just people wanting to say things. And as I said, a lot of folks just say after me. I went to the college some years ago when Hermie Morton was in charge over there and introduced a program called Calypso on the Campus. A program to get the younger folks involved, etc. And she loved it. And she called the then music specialist to the meeting. And he says, oh, I have a similar program. Doing so, we left it to him. Nothing happened. I was asked to put a program together for the virtual school to teach the young ones to write Calypso, develop that skill in them. And one person who was the headmaster said to Sam Kondo, we don't want that because he write a song called Nothing the Ring. You understand the negativity?
Wow.
So I've been trying for so many years, working, molding the young ones. I hate the fact that so many of them cannot write. But if you're at the elementary stage, if you're serious about culture, developing calypso, you will take that curriculum into the classroom.
And I always felt that way.
I have volunteered my service, but for some reason, we don't take it seriously. And so you find for the junior calypsonians, just prior to the competition, 2-3 weeks before, they try to get them together and try to get them to get songs. And the parents are involved, and the teachers, and the kids haven't a clue. This is now January. Get a program in school and start to get the kids how to compose. Teach them what is calypso, why calypso, blah, blah. Make it part of the cultural curriculum.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
And understand the story that they write. Because calypso, I listen to a lot of calypsonians. I tell you, I'm not a lover of calypso. Trust me, I don't. I like witty calypsonians. I'm a calypsonian who write witty songs. Like I used to listen to the Sparrow thing. Because when you were young, then that was all you knew. Sparrow, the lizard, run up, shift, and it disappear. Those are the things that you understood. And, there was always a story.
That?
Oh, yeah. Not when I was a child. Not when I was a child. But now, it's after that I was like, how my mother allowed me to sing that song? Maybe she herself didn't understand it.
Here in SKN, there are certain presenters / DJs who plays those humorous songs from Trinidad around the clock. We have many in the Federation.
Yep.
Don't get any airplay at all.
That is so true.
No, so we have people here discouraged. Why? Because all they're playing is and we know all the big humorous songs from Trinidad. As a matter of fact, the Bomber, Clifton, he died, I think, was about 4 days ago.
I wouldn't be able to tell.
The Bomber, he has some humorous song that they play here. And then Kenny G, he died yesterday morning.
Kenny G, the saxophonist?
No.
Oh.
Calypsonian.
Okay, cool.
Awesome voice. I mean, these are guys who got great work, known mainly in Trinidad, but they were great Calypsonians, made the contribution. He died a few days ago and such.
See, I tell you, I don't listen to calypso, so I wouldn't know who's Kenny G. It's embarrassing because it's a culture.
Not really.
It's a Caribbean culture.
It is.
And we're supposed to understand. I mean, that's one of the things that we lose a lot of focus. I focus. I like soca because soca has the jumpy beat that you would have. People like, it's not the story that you want. Lyrics is not even. They're not even lyrical contents in most of these songs. And I look at that for the calypsonians too. You realize that they're trying to tell a story, but they deviate a lot. I'm going to say this. I like Maury's songs because Maury's songs had, some good, really good lyrics to it. I honestly thought that he would have placed too, but I mean, it so happened that it didn't happen. I told you I loved all of the songs. To me, the calypsonians that I listened, they were quite good. It was really, really good. This year's competition for me, I find the lyrics of the songs were quite good. Some of them were overlooked.
I'm glad that we're slowly making you a fan.
Yeah, slowly.
Of calypso.
That's a long, slow walk. But I listened. I always used to listen to the calypso shows because there were people in there that I like. I like the King Conrads. Of course, I always want to hear King Socrates' song. So you listen just on the night of Carnival. After that, you don't hear the songs again.
That is true.
They're not played on the radio in the first instance, and so you're not hearing them as much as you should. Just like you say, you turn on your radio and you're listening to all of the artists, the Marshall Montano, all of those people from in Trinidad, the Lady Sauce. So you are aware of these songs. The King Congress, who has his nice soca beat, you hardly hear his songs on the radio. So I mean, locally you don't hear your artists, and maybe that's one of the reasons why.
There's some DJs who will play some person's song, others who won't. I don't get any airplay. At the same level as others, let me qualify that. Jazzy D, who interviewed me a few weeks ago, she says to me, I no longer do really, of songs because I'm a Christian.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that, and so I appreciate the fact that she came out to the launch of the second song, which was Toasting 50. And she loved I Fear Not.
It was a really good song.
And, we take it or leave it, but we make a contribution regardless. I am now a member of the Beyond the Borders Calypso tent. That's in Trinidad. And I have to send 4 selections by the 20th. I have to do 4 videos to send to them. In late December, I was the team leader of the SKN Legends, sort of CPU, the 2020 Calypso format, where we had Calypsonians from Dominica in the person of Hunter, Fire Empress from Grenada. Who else? We had the designer. You remember a song back in the day, Rati, 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 Way, Jam in the Soca, Rati, Rati.
I told you.
Designer from Trinidad. And Monarch was the MC, and the Invincible from Nevis was a rookie. Each team had a rookie, so 5 Calypsonians, inclusive of a rookie. And we took part in what was called the Caribbean Calypso Clash, community that ended, and we were well represented. So I'm now again included in a Calypso tent in Trinidad. Virtually, of course, it's called Beyond the Borders. And I feel honored to be, my work is being respected in certain, certain areas, demographics. So I appreciate that.
Socrates, I mean, I know you're not one to blow your own trumpet, but the information, the facts are the facts. You can't dispute them. I always feel that way. Calypso, Socrates has been on the
Synonymous?
It's been on the local stage, in the local arena for how long? From since when you started?
I would say around 1978, thereabouts.
Wow.
78? Yeah, when I first returned from the USVI. 78, 80 thereabouts. But it was in 88 that I landed my first national crown. I did win the bi-local crown in Sandy Point 1 year after Elimat would have won it. I think I won it twice. So that was my first foray into Calypso on the local stage in Sandy Point. And then in 1980 with Kill on the Road, that was like the flagship year for me. That seems to be a flagship song for most folks, Kill on the Road. But even prior to that, I was involved in a very big way in Calypso. Many of the big names in Calypso syndicates, I would have made them famous. In terms of writing for them, etc., etc. The times when I list 1 or 2 songs I would have written for people, and people, I made you write the song. One example, Seven the Mass. You have no idea what that song is all about.
Yeah, I know. That's
Monday, my costume was on the road.
Tuesday. Well, you see, you wrote that song?
Yep.
Oh.
I made him famous. With many others.
Ooh. And that was Starshield?
That was Ranger.
Ranger's the one.
But he and Starshield were like Star and Second walking together.
They had the same kind of, that's what I tell you, they have the same kind of tone. Yeah.
So that was me.
Wow.
That was me. There are many others who would have written for, but I don't mention the name because they want to claim fame. Stuff like that.
And it's a sad part of the whole thing. When people do not realize your contribution, and people would sit on the outside and make stupid remarks and criticism or say things that they consider as criticism.
Say after me.
Yeah, definitely they are. Say after me. But it's what you still have to contribute. I listen to you and you talk about introducing Calypso writing.
Yes.
in from the
It's needed.
It is absolutely necessary.
We have guys now running from St. Martin to Trinidad to get songs to compete in our competition.
Wow.
We have to give credit to Crichton Pension. He sang as the Crusader, a former director of culture, and one of the better writers in the Caribbean. Remember, he's got a great song, There Is No El Dorado Up There. That's a classic in syndicates, and he hardly gets recognition.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that you see here, though, is the fact that we do not push our own. And it is sad. I listened to Singing Jackie, and she spoke about when she was, I listened to her interview, when she was very upset about the Calypso competition and people not vaccinated and vaccinated and that controversy. And one of the things that really resonated with me was the fact, I was very much taken aback when she said, it's not many of the artists who write their own songs. The songs are written, so they don't understand that the time it takes to write a Calypso and the effort that you have to put in.
A clue.
They have, and so she says, when one can sit and make a decision, you don't understand how disenfranchised you're making the Calypsonians who want to compete because of the time in which they would have put in to get their songs ready and themselves ready, the monies that they would have spent, and then situations like that. But I didn't know because it takes me about maybe half an hour, 45 minutes to write a poem because I like writing poetry. So
sometimes a song, it can be so impacted and inspired by a topic. You just flow through it. It comes naturally. Others, you're fighting for a topic. You're going to a competition, you know the field, you want to be ahead, you want to have a different topic, and you're fighting for something that's not that obvious.
Yeah.
So it takes time.
And when you're in it for such a long time, you tend to become repetitive. You develop a
I
style.
have to fight against that.
Yeah, you develop
But
a
you have
style.
a unique style
Yeah.
in terms of the flow of your chords, etc. But what I've done, because of my love for the art form, and Fancy has said to me and to others, he don't love this thing as bad as me. So he just walked away. When he had some issues, problem was created for him by the then Minister of Culture and some judging issue. He walked away. He says, Sarkodie, I don't love it as much as you. I invested thousands into a studio, which gives me the ability to not only compose the lyrics, but arrange the songs and things. So all the folks I've been working for, all they have to do is go on stage and sing.
Wow.
I do everything, all arrangement, even teach them the phrasing of the songs. This is how you sing it, etc. And that takes time and dedication.
Wow.
And some of them, and to occasion at least, went on stage and beat me with my own work.
I remember.
You understand?
I remember one year when I heard it, they said, but you know, Sarkodie wrote the song. I said, he should have kept that one.
On that, in that year, there were 16 songs in that competition. Sarkodie wrote and arranged 8.
Wow.
Of all the songs that took part in that competition, Sarkodie Sylvester Hart, wrote 8 of the 16 songs in the competition.
Ooh.
I remember one year, Diva plays ahead of me with my own material.
Yeah, I know, I remember.
Right? Anastasia. You remember Anastasia?
Yeah.
I mean, she's a force on stage.
To reckon with.
I was a pen.
No,
And people attack me. I wanted her to beat you. This and
yeah,
that.
she did.
But the contribution, the love for the art form and development of Calypso and Swing Kits, I continue to make a contribution. And nobody can stop me.
And I hope, Socrates, that nobody would stop you, because let me tell you
Cannot
something.
reach me.
People, you know, a lot of us believe that we are bigger than the game. We are bigger, and some people are should not be a part of the game. It's not for people to decide that. The game decides the players that they want to be in there. They're basically no criterion to stay. The age is not a factor. You can sing as long as you want to sing. It is your passion. And I would just hope, because you have so much more to contribute to Sing Kids. And I wish that people would start looking at the situation, as you say, because if they're going to get rid of you and don't have anybody to replace you, because we don't have the necessary protocols or they follow through in place, because you're not doing it in the schools. So where the future is going to come from?
I'm going to tell you what I'm not prepared to continue to do. Chris Collins, he's from Newtown. He is in the UK. He has been telling me for years, Socrates, forget about other people. Focus on yourself alone. For 21 years, I put in place and managed what was called the Legends Calypso Tent. Mm-hmm. It meant beating the pavement, getting money from the sponsors to make sure at the end of the day, the Calypsonians, those from Nevis, I provided transportation. I used to pay my drummer, who's a bus driver, would take the Calypsonians from downtown to the water taxi after 11, 12 at night to make sure they get home safely. That was part of what Legends did for Calypsonians. When I first formed Legends, it was said it was Lindsey Grant's tent. They made it political, and there was this attempt to boycott it. I was never as popular as Grandmasters, but we created an easement for all the folks who would have to depend on one Calypso tent.
Your tent was done at Otney's.
Yes, that was, I have to thank him for giving us that support. I was told, well, you have a lot of sponsors, Heiliger, but he didn't make a monetary contribution. But in providing that venue for a band house, I mean, you had restrooms, you had a beautiful place to use, and that was his contribution. Even this morning we were speaking about that, his contribution. So I didn't do it on my own. There were people who assisted. I'll go to the banks, we'll go to Horsford, I've got the different people, breweries, and get their sponsors to make sure that, because I'm not Grandmasters. This was created mainly for Calypsonians during the carnival season. And then the people just start leaving Legends, they want to go here because the other tents are more popular. And then with the carnival committee putting the all-star band together, they went to the sponsors that would normally support Legends and took my sponsors. Fine, they could create a bigger platform.
Good.
So when in December, one of my banks, sponsors says to me, Socrates, we got $10,000 for you. I'm saying, well, I'm not going to take it because I won't be able to give you that level of marketing that I would normally give you. So I told the bank to keep the money. That was for the Calypsonians. I was looking at 20 Calypsonians, I would have given them each $500 commemorative of the 50th anniversary. And I told the bank, thank you, but keep the money. You get discouraged because people are sometimes ungrateful. They don't realize what it takes to put that in place. So I can say I am not prepared to put legends back in place. I understand another entity is trying to create a Calypso tent, which was trying to rival legends way back when. You can have it.
It's sad, you know. It's really, really sad when people do not understand the destruction that they're causing, not just to you, because they can destroy you, but to the art form.
The point is, legends were not about me.
Exactly.
I got the least rehearsals in that Calypso tent. Ask Mr. Williams, he was the band musical director. He was the captain of the band. Mm-hmm. My thing was to create an entity. Heiliger was supposed to be the manager. In the first year, Gary Knight was the band leader, and then second year, Mr. Williams was the band leader. He was in charge of all the musical, everything else. But I couldn't find the management to follow through, so I took over the management. So I'm competing. I'm writing for others. I'm arranging for others. I'm making sure the equipment gets set up. I make sure we get to the venue in time. We went down to Pumpkins one time with the Calypso tent. Nobody showed up. We went to Connery. Nobody showed up. Many events we showed to help people show up, but everybody got paid because I would have secured that sponsorship through, the sponsors.
Yeah.
And everybody got paid. I'm hearing last year that, because in last year, as I said, I did not get the sponsorship that I would normally get. But that gentleman went around telling people, he get his sponsorship money. He ain't pay Calypsonians. He ain't pay this. And Jan got very upset because she knew better. So they tried to blacken my name to say, I got the sponsorship money as usual. I did not get it.
Well, Socrates.
And last year when I got it, I gave it back.
Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes, and it's something that I've developed since I was a child. Because you realize people are always doing that. People are saying things that they don't know. And sometimes...
No, he knows better.
Yeah, but you...
But he was being deliberate.
He is, and you recognize that he's being deliberate. You don't give them that voice. They say as much as they want and let them continue to say, because the facts, I've always said, the facts cannot be disputed. And
sometimes when I respond,
you feel
I get nailed to the cross.
It's okay, and then just say like Jesus when he was on the cross, according to the Bible, is that it is finished, right? I mean, and my strength, why I don't even go to that point where I don't forsaken me, because at the end of the day in life, it's about you and what you do. People are going to criticize you. People are going to see the truth, and they are going to twist it because that is their intention. You can't change that.
As I said in my video, when my head hit my pillow,
you sleep like, yeah.
Gone.
I always tell people, my saying is, when I lay me down to sleep, I close my eyes and I go to sleep. I have nothing to worry about. And it's hard. You have to work hard to find yourself in a situation like that. I mean, where you can just close your eyes and go to sleep, and you don't care about what people say.
Not a thing.
Doesn't
and
mean
when I
nothing
wake
to
in the
me.
morning, I give thanks for the Creator, because it's a blessing to start your day with all your faculties, mental and physical, intact, and you move forward. Sandra Byron was a person people could understand how we became friends, because they know the history of when I was on stage and caustic with my lyrics against the then Labour Party. She was one who used to attack me and all the detractors, etc. I never one day answered Sandra in anger. I understand people will be upset because of my political stance. And people will curse me, not even knowing me, but because of the political stance I took and the image, he's a Palm Calypsonian. And gradually Sandra came to realize, I'm singing Calypso. It's not personal.
Based on the situation
and
you're
for
saying?
20 years, she has been the MC of the Legends band. And people, she ain't no good. But you have to respect loyalty. She came forward and she was there, and she has my respect. And she, because of love of Calypso on the art form, we look beyond the politics. We live in a very small society. You can't get up with the rank and the anger every day. I am not above that.
Exactly.
I was never above that. I love the art form. I will offend people because of what they sing. Man, that's okay.
But it's a story you tell. It's what it is. Kaiso is a story that is told, and it's about things that are happening around you, and you talk about how you feel. And people are supposed to learn to respect other people's opinion, and your opinion comes in song. That's how you feel.
Well,
but again, you as a Calypsonian, you have to understand too that people have their opinion, and that is how they feel.
One of the issues they say, one of the reasons some people say they're vexed with me, because when the other gentleman was Prime Minister for 20 years. I used to attack him and attack the others. And now I was having the government change. And I ain't singing the issues, but we have so many media outlets today we didn't have before. Pick up your phone, you get instant information, blah, 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 blah. So you have the information, you don't need me.
Yeah,
I'm not making an excuse.
But I know. But let me ask you a question though. You sing. You're a person who sings facts. You sing based on what your experience is. If you're going to write a song about the government today, it's gonna but it would be a positive one because the facts are there.
The one that get a political commentary, they get it.
Definitely,
they'll get it.
Definitely. And this is one of the things that and when you sing and you sing the truth, they're gonna say again, "Oh, you see, he's sucking up. He wants it," but it's a fact. It's the truth.
As Sweeney would say, tell me which part of the calypso is not true. You may not like it.
Exactly.
But tell me which part of the calypso is not true.
Okay. Well, let's look at what we had to look at calypso. We had to look at the carnival in a different light because of COVID. COVID has made, and we must say that it has made a lot of changes, created a lot of changes in our life. We had to go away from the norm. People look at the norm as something that you do every day. For me, I don't have normals. I look at the situation and I approach it based on circumstances. And so I don't have norms like everybody. It's not, normally I get up at 6 o'clock. Some people say, I don't have that. I get up when I think it's time to get up. Okay. Normally I would eat at 10 o'clock. No, I don't do that. I eat when I think I'm hungry. And it's the same way I apply it to my life. I don't normally do anything. I do things based on the situation at that time. So we know now that our carnival was put in an abnormal situation. It was created because of COVID. So you had to do things that we are not accustomed to. Mm-hmm. Like, so what do you think? How do you think, or do you think that the shows was attended?
I was impressed when I stepped on stage on the final night and saw the volume of persons in the audience. I was impressed by that. Wow. I was told that the Queen pageant show was sold out. Ooh. That's a positive. People are hungry for entertainment, and I'm glad that people were able to come out and support because, of course, much of the shows was subsidized. Yeah. So as for the bubble juve, I saw clips of it. I saw the minister wailing away the young thing.
Was bubbling.
Having fun. I mean, that's a hard-working man.
Yeah.
And he says to some point, you don't get the credit.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, yesterday there was a situation at Posante where a ship, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Yesterday, I think. One of the carnival ship was out in the bay for some time.
I saw that.
It left. And the rumor is, because I didn't really inquire, I wasn't given anything factual, is that there were cases of COVID on it. Mm-hmm. And so. And one young man was wailing against the government. They followed that. Let the ship come. We have to live with Corona. Blah, 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 blah. No. And then you're hearing some people saying, well, they let the ship come in and these people had this and that. What they're doing, you're going to get it either way. So this person was looking at the fact that his livelihood is being threatened because the ship out there and we have Corona, let us live with it. And the government full of this, the government full of that. Socrates, you hear what's And then smiled and let him have his opinion, etc. I understand why. You have an interest in the ship coming, but the fact is, there were challenges, and one has to still protect. Look at the same situation with the tennis player.
Djokovic?
Yeah. What happened? They said no, because Australia has gone the length and breadth to protect their citizenry. How do you expect to come in here as an unvaccinated person, not because you're the celebrity, blah, blah, blah. The same thing prevailed during the carnival and the calypso and this and that. So you're going to find the opinions pro and con. My thing was Socrates, well, not my thing. Their thing was Socrates not vaccinated. He shouldn't be allowed. I heard the Honorable Sam Conda on Freedom saying, well, here Socrates, and I'm saying, Sam Conda, Lord, man, not you. Leader for the riffraff.
I know.
And there were people called the carnival committee trying to find out my status. They even said how Jan is the one who gave me some false document, had a lady in distress.
Oh my God.
They were calling 4-3, why was Socrates documented? Why me? But then I said some time ago, the devil never got after who they got ready.
Yeah, he goes after those that he's out there.
Right, so I smile and move on.
Yeah, and we talk about this as a situation right now, and I saw the ship outside. But it's not just to sink it alone. These ships has been turned back by many different other ports because of for that same reason. We have to now look at the statistics. People are saying that COVID is something that we have to live with. It is true, but
It
you
is
cannot
how.
let you exactly. You
It has
cannot
to
let your
be
guards down.
managed
It
intelligently.
still has to be managed, and people have to realize that schools. We're looking at the situation right now with schools. Whether or not schools are going to be open, you could say as much as you want. Yeah, we have to live with COVID. But why are you going to put your children out there at risk when you know
jeopardy.
that there's a situation out there? In order for you to control it, you have to social distancing has worked. It means that you have to go into isolation and you have to go into lockdown. I see that my sister lives in Holland. Right now, they're on the lockdown. They were supposed to come out on the 14th. They have been extended because in order for you cannot stop the infection or the disease from coming on your shores, but you have to learn how to manage it. And the approach is some people feel because they are financially affected, let's forget about the masses. Let's forget about the people. Let's
Who
get
dead, dead.
money. Yeah, who dead. But they're looking at the recovery rate, but they're not looking. 28 people dying from COVID is a lot.
I
It is
told
a
them
lot.
those field hospitals that the country now has may come into use. Pray that they don't need them.
It's going to come. I said it before. I said, I pray we don't need it. But when you start looking at the situation as it right now, I think my prayer it's just reaching, it's going up. And I hope that Peter will get it in time and take it to who he can take it to, because we are going to need it. The
Peter?
cases, yeah.
Okay.
Peter is at the door. So I suppose he received the emails and he takes it to God. I don't know.
I think Dr. Splitit has been doing a wonderful job.
I admire that guy. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I wanted Murray to win, because Dr. Splitit has shown me that he is not just a doctor,
He's
but
capable.
he's not just a medical doctor, but he can doctor other things. He is a very capable person. Cameron, I knew him in school, and I must say this about him. He was a brains. He was a whiz. He was a dedicated person, dedicated to helping people. In chemistry, it was one of the areas that we used to sit and work, because I used to dabble. That was one of the areas that I myself selected. And he was a very intelligent person. One of the things that I admire about Cameron is his strategic planning, the way he planned for things, and he has brought it over here. We have not appreciated him as much. The NEOC has been getting some serious negative raps, but we have to start making comparisons. When we compare ourselves to other countries, people say,
we
you're
have-
boastful.
Yes, they said that
They say
because
you're boastful.
You're not as humble, and you are making life-changing decision that has worked positively. Get your credit.
Definitely, and you people look at that way. We talk about our economy and we boast the fact that the government would have given a double salary when no one expected that. They say you're boastful.
I got cussed off of that some weeks ago. I was making some commentary. The government, this government, that. I said, okay, tell me something. Which government has paid double salary consecutively, so on? Which government decided they would not go to IMF, Dr. Simmons? Which one took us there, Dr. Douglas? Which one rescued us, Dr. Harris?
And you ask the
so.
question and they say, oh, you support Dr. Harris. Well, I know Dr. Harris is doing what he's supposed to do.
Country
And you talk
running
good.
good.
And we have to say it, despite the fact. And these are the same people who are going to want you to bring in a ship that has contaminated people on it, because they don't care about the
Yes.
country. And when the government take that stand to decide it's going to protect its people, the country is not doing what it's supposed to. Dr. Timothy Harris only seeking third term. These are the and when you talk, they say, oh, you are politically driven.
The issues in any country will be part of, but in overall management of the economy and the country as a whole, once that is in place and progressively moving forward, look at all the capital projects going on.
Still, they haven't changed any. Look at construction. It's a boom. Everywhere you go right now in St. Kitts, somebody's building. You can't even get a contractor because they're all out there. You can't get workers.
So, I'm going to write a political song for this year.
Country running good.
Yeah, well, they're going to deport me.
And why? Where you going to go? Deport you to where? Sandy Point?
Well, that. So, Dr. Splitit, you have been, in my estimation, quite a gentleman, doing a great job in spite of all the bashing. I've heard people refer to him as Dr. Will Kill Some. I thought that was disrespectful. I mean, like, Dr. Split is my
Well,
friend.
you know, Dr. Wilkerson doesn't, nothing bothers him. I thought you would have become your enemy because he wrote a song for your
No, man. No.
competition. And it was a great song. I mean, both songs were lyrically, they were beautiful.
It is called
And
a Calypso competition.
It was
How
a
would he
Calypso
call my enemy?
Because
Not
he
even
wrote
my
the
enemies.
song.
No. For what?
I find Murray did a good
worked for
job
Murray too.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you see, Murray, I find Murray. I hope. I want to believe that he didn't please because they think that, and that was in the medium.
They
and
said that
everybody
too.
thought because he
It
didn't
was-
write his song.
And how could the doctor writing
Yeah.
songs with people competing and saying that others who are not vaccinated should compete? So they made that issue.
Yeah, there was all the issues, and I think that was one of the. It's sad because for me, when I lie down in my bed and I listen and I look and I saw what was happening, I said, I think they took all of these things, and I'm not bashing judges, but I think that these are things that were taken into consideration because Murray was strong. His second song was very strong. As a matter of fact, you were croaking. Diva
Yeah, I
had a
was
great
croaking.
song, yeah. And I find Murray delivered. He did very, very well. But I suppose those are things that you take into the competition where they're criterion. And I think one of the things that he didn't write the song, and people had all of that in there. But I wanted to conduct
Quite a
this-
few of them didn't write their songs.
and you
Those who
need to say who
performed.
songs you wrote, and so people would know
Quite a
that.
few of them didn't write
Yeah,
their
but-
songs that night.
Yeah, but-
so it wasn't Murray alone.
Yeah, but you see, that's one of the things that people only look at certain people. And like I said, Dr. Wilkerson, Dr. Split
Dr. Split-Teeth, yeah.
Dr. Split-Teeth has been in the public's domain, and he in a negative way and a positive way to people who have a better understanding. And so these are the things. When I was so disappointed when I heard people started to talk about it and made it a big issue. Oh, he's a doctor. And so what?
But I find solace in the fact, and this is a fact, that you have more people saying good than bad.
Yeah, and I don't look at
So if
those.
you let the folks who say bad define you and determine how you move forward, you would be betraying those who repose faith,
Yeah.
trust, your good
Sure.
judgment, and support you.
It's true.
So you live for the positive and you just forget the negative.
And that's me. I don't live in
And
negative.
based on how you live in life, some of the negative will come over because they realize that you're not there with them. They want to be in a good, positive light. And that's how we change Sandra.
And you know what? I used to tell people, I don't mind people have negative comments because when you sit down, because you as a person, you have to learn to assess. You know who you are, and don't let people define you. And when people start to say negative things about me, I don't hear them. Sometimes I will sit there and say, let me go and consult myself and see whether or not anything that they're saying is true. And it helps me to grow into a better person sometimes. So I look at the negative things that people say to me, I assess it and see whether or not I can get to be even a better person than I am. And I use those lines
make
and
it
information
constructive.
and make it constructive. But, it is sad when people can sit down and come up with all these accusations,
But we'll
these
always
negative
have
lines.
that.
Humans are who they
But
are.
you have to equip yourself, and you should by now, with the mentality that this is part of life. Whether you're a public figure or not, you're going to have criticism thrown at you. Even when you're at your best doing good, they
Yeah.
will criticize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The coffee too hot, but coffee is supposed to be hot. yeah, the coffee too hot.
I have to blow in the tea. You have to. It's hot. I mean, these are the things that, and that's one. I am so proud. I'm happy of who I am, Socrates. I don't let people define me. I don't hear people anyway. So some people who want to be negative and stuff. But Sanjay, you didn't hear, no, and I don't care to hear either. And that's what it is. A lot of times we create an impression of who we are, and when people say that we are not that, it becomes a problem to us.
That's because you don't really believe in yourself.
That's the whole thing. And like I said, we create an impression of who we are. And so when we hear otherwise, we start to, it poses a serious problem to us. But
Sometimes it takes strangers to point out that they have you in value. I mean, like when I get the request from, say, Trinidad, we want you to be on a team. When if I were in London right now, I'd be doing workshops.
yeah, I trust me.
I
you
would. There are
have been.
people asking me when you're coming because they value what I would have done. And as a matter of fact, when I first went, it was because of my work done in the studio. Somebody said, we have this guy up there. And they sent me travel expenses and everything because they wanted to be part of that program. So I have an agent there now is asking, when are you coming? Because I would have lined up all these to the workshops. I'm trying to offer that here free in St. Kitts. Antigua flew me over there sometime last year or year before COVID, to do workshop for them. So the people value my work. And that tells it, there's somebody listening.
I
You know
hope
what I
the
mean?
Minister of Culture is listening, because I've said that over and over again. A lot of times, Carnival is a part of our culture. Calypso is a part of our culture. It's a part of
Central
our
Pigatory,
carnival.
yeah.
And it is one of the biggest shows on the night. They have made money from Calypsonians. I mean, that is one of the reasons why you have Calypso competitions. When I look at the gifts that you guys get, I find it's minimal too, but again, that's another topic to
It
discuss.
is.
Another topic we can discuss.
It
and so
is.
you're not getting back as much as
No,
you're
you're
giving,
not.
and they're
No,
making
no.
from you. And so you ask and you wonder if this is something that is so important to your art form, to your carnival, to your country in a whole, why the emphasis is not placed or priority is not given for it to be continued. How? By, just like you said, taking up your offer. Let us take it to the schools. I don't understand sometimes where the minister or the people in culture, where they are, because then we look forward in December and everybody's scrabbling because
Yeah,
when
that
you
is
look,
stage.
yeah, it's you
And
start
people a substandard show because the kids, whomever, not properly prepared.
exactly.
You know, throughout the months.
And that is one of the things, that's the problem that I have. Because at the end of the day, we as the people who are supporting, we're the ones who pay to see the shows, and we're the ones who are disenfranchised because we get mediocrity, because people are not prepared in the
kids
time in
get
which they should have.
discouraged.
And
The
the
kids
kids
get
get, and
discouraged.
everybody start to leave the art form. And that is one of the biggest problems. And until somebody can recognize the problem that this is posing and start looking at it seriously, sooner or later we would not have, or we would have Calypso. Sure, people will be singing soca. And I'm not, and King Congress again will become king because he has that soca kind of beat that he brings in, which is different.
I mean, the man from number
He's
3.
the one from number 3.
I'm from number 3 dropouts.
I mean,
I mean, look at let's have a pick on Converse.
dumb.
Man from number 3, he failed at the poll. Man from number 3 failed at being elected as the leader. I think he was going for the Calypso competition. So maybe thinking, man from number 3 times in a straight.
Or the man from number 3 is a good friend of mine, and I like
Definitely.
him.
No. There's no enmity. There's no bad blood
I
between
know. I'm
us.
just
There's none
joking.
at all.
And he, one of the things about Congress is that criticism doesn't mean, and he learns from. He takes it as not negative in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
He takes it in a positive way, and he helps him to, because he went back and he started to sing again. People have
I
criticized him.
saw him at the when we went to pull out numbers to compete on the following. I saw him there. So when I heard that he actually dropped out, okay. But the man from number 3,
I think he foresee. I think he has foreseen
It
that.
happens, it
What the
happens.
situation is, Socrates, we are definitely running out of time for 2022. I don't want the time to go over. You're doing voices today, are you? No?
no, I didn't come prepared for it. I came because you asked me because remember told I didn't have the vocals.
Yeah.
And I let the young lady upstairs know that I'm available for next Wednesday. I'm actually working with the ship's schedule. So
Well, I want to thank you for coming and clear the air because it needed to be cleared. I would still say that I am grateful for the fact that you competed to the end, because not many people would have done that. Everybody thought that you did pull off an Elimat when you realized that you were in trouble. You went
those are
home to
people who are
sleep.
deliberate because they know I
there
don't do
was-
that.
Yeah, they know. And people are going to be who they are. But like again, I said, I want to say on behalf of St. Kitts and Nevis, I want to thank you for your sportsmanship, the fact that you are going to continue to compete, and please don't stop ever, because we need that. The art form needs people like you.
Appreciate that. I reached out to Fancy, not to go over. I spoke with Fancy. I encouraged my best I could to come back in the competition. But I think it was the vaccination thing that turned him off. But I was the one who kept calling, you got to come in, you got to. I need that level of competition.
You do.
Because he writes his own, he creates his own, and give me that competition.
Yeah, and you don't want to win based on the songs, against the songs that you would have written.
Give me a
You
bang
want
them
people-
off.
I know. Anyways, we are out of time, and I want to remind you that COVID is not a joke, and we know that now. It's not humorous anymore. We see it's not just COVID out there. There's another cold out there. Wearing your mask will protect you from that. That one for me is even more deadly because I see people getting to the hospitals. People are now on respirators. Not on respirators. They are on nebulizers because it triggers that asthmatic reaction.
yeah.
This guy told me he didn't have asthma, but he found himself wheezing. He was not tested positive for Omicron, but he was for Corona. But they realized that there's another thing that's outside there, so we have to be very careful. Our children, for me, they are delicate. They cannot. The feelings that you feel as an adult and you can overcome, our children doesn't have an understanding. They don't have an understanding of that, and it's difficult for them. So we have to make sure that we do our best to protect them. Minister of Education, I have 2 young children who have to go to school. Take it into consideration that these children don't know they were gonna hug. They're not gonna follow protocols because they're happy to see their friends. And we have to look at this and take these things into consideration before school is open. Let us realize that the situation is not just gonna affect our education system or healthcare system. Whether or not it's able to carry the load is something that is being tested right now. So we have to take these things into consideration. And you negative people out there who are just saying negative things, thinking that you are the only person who are affected and your livelihood is affected, you have to take into consideration. If we continue along this vein, then sooner or later we would not be in a position to do anything. And on that note, I want to say it's Friday. We know that people are want to continue into that carnival spirit. Carnival is over. We have to take into consideration that Omicron is not a joke, and so we have to abide by the protocols. That is washing your hands, social distancing, and you have to make sure that at the end of the day, you wear your mask. It doesn't only protect you from COVID, it protects you from other things like the common cold that is going around. So let's take these things into consideration, do what we have to do. Our contribution has brought us to this stage, so let us continue to take the necessary precautions and do what we have to do. My name is Sanji Kwili Atherton, and it has been a pleasure to be here in the presence of Socrates. And
my advice is to listen to Dr. Splitit.
Dr. Splitit has been doing well. and the doctor who wears glasses, the CMO, the beautiful doctor,
Definitely.
Dr. Beauty. Oh, she's such a beautiful person. At the NOC, I want to congratulate you on a job well done. Mr. Prime Minister, you are always in the media. You have the negative people who are going to talk negative, but you're doing a great job and continue to look after the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And it's Friday. For Win FM, it's Voices time, so stay tuned. Voices is up next.
Pamana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Trent is not even listening.
Me no know what them a talk about. When them say think it's mad. Whenever